These are the best themes for build tricks, shortcuts, and hidden tools that completely changed the way I build. After years of building in The Sims 4 and creating some of my biggest and most detailed builds ever, these are the tricks I use in almost every single build. From custom stairs and curved roofs to better clutter placement, debug objects, and hidden keyboard shortcuts, we are covering everything you need to build faster and make your builds look way better. Some of these tips are super simple, but they honestly make such a huge difference once you start using them regularly. So let's get into it! Okay, so we are starting strong today. We have our sim Adelaide today. She is gonna be our little sim for the day. But let's get into build mode and see our first trick. So we all know that selecting B on your keyboard can actually draw you a wall. But did you know that selecting Control on your keyboard while also going through a wall can actually delete it? This can also work for rooms, just like this. This trick also works on fences, as you guys can see. This trick also works for pools. As you guys can see, you can draw little complex shapes, or you can also redraw the entire shape of your pool if you want to. Just be sure to create sort of a little room, as you guys can see. But usually, before you even start building, you want to activate cheats. And these cheats basically create endless possibilities for the game. So first up, you need to open the cheat bar. How you do that? You simply select Ctrl, Shift, and C, and it will appear right here on the top left of the screen. After that, you can go in and type bb.moveObjects, and once you hit enter, your move object cheat will be on. And what this means is that now you can place items freely in your game. Let me show you. This trick is especially useful when you're trying to landscape. So for example, if I wanted to add this little cone here, you see that I would have problems with it. I want it just right under the stairs, but I can't quite get to it. Or even if I wanted more plants, I couldn't get one after the other. As you can see, cannot intersect objects. But with the move objects activated, you can go very close to the wall. You can create little cute shapes as you wish. And as you guys can see, you can obviously landscape a little better. Place everything where you would like it to be. And voila, we have a fully landscaped little house. Another very useful cheat is the bb.showHiddenObjects. This unlocks debug items, which include a ton of hidden objects the game normally doesn't show you. And as you can see, for example, in the plants, I have a ton of trees that usually don't show up. For example, my favorite one, which is this one from Get Together. It never shows up, and I use it in literally every single build because it's so beautiful. Something very similar is the bb.showLiveEditObjects, and this also shows you items that would normally be locked in the game. And honestly, some of the best items are hidden in there, such as cars, for example. So now if I go in the menu and select transportation, as you can see, I have unlocked a lot of cute items, such as this little tram, oh my god, it's so cute, and a lot of cute cars. Oh my god, there's even a train, hello? Here you can also find these beautiful boats if you are maybe creating a harbor. And have you ever been annoyed by items that you can perfectly see but cannot select because they are locked behind career levels? Well, there's a cheat for that too. Well, then you can type in bb.ignoreGameplayUnlocksEntitlement, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, and it will unlock them all. And as you can see, for example, this beautiful object that is usually under the journalist career, I can place it freely whenever and however I want. And be mindful that they will be scattered around, they will not be at the bottom anymore. Finally, we all know and love Motherload. We know that it gives you 5,000 simoleons, but if you really want unlimited building freedoms, you need to know this cheat. And you can simply type in money and the amount of money that you want. So for example, let's do $1 million. And as you can see, my Sims now has $1 million. Before, she only had a couple thousand. And now I can actually select anything in the world, even the things that cost the most, like this beautiful 2,000 simoleons thing. I don't know what it is, but it looks nice. It's good, you can build with it. And this will basically give you unlimited building freedom, so you can really create whatever you want and see your vision come to life. And once you have all these cheats enabled, you're basically ready to start building. Before moving on to some exciting tips, I really would like to shout out this mod, what is called Tool Mod. And it basically includes everything that we talked about so far in a simple little menu that you can activate, and will always be activated automatically when you launch your game. So for example, you can ignore outlocks automatically, you can activate move objects, and you can also have an organized debugs with all of the debug items having a name to them. Definitely check it out if you guys are interested in building better. Now let's say that you created this beautiful living room right here and you are just missing that something, and that something might be an armchair. If you are to play only with the game basics, you can rotate it only like this. So you would maybe have one like here and one like this. You know, not bad. And it also snaps to the tiles. But did you know that if you actually held the Alt key or Option if you're a MacBook, you can freely place it on the grid? Additionally, while still holding Alt and the left click of your mouse, you can freely rotate the object. So you can have any rotation you want. So if you combine all of these, you can have them right where you want them to be. So for example, like this. And also because we have activated the move object, we can also place beautiful cushions on top of it. And voila, we have a really beautiful living room. Also, a very important trick, you can also select an object and click the Shift key to duplicate it. So you don't have to go and like duplicate it each time and spend like half an hour doing it. And because we are talking about precise placements, we absolutely have to mention this. So let's say you're outside and you want to place a window. Normally the game lets you place the window and it snaps automatically, but as you can see, the gap that it leaves is gigantic. So maybe you want it exactly here and not wherever the game places it. You can simply click on F5 on your keyboard and it will automatically snap into quarter tile placement. So instead of a tile, it will move only a quarter of a tile. And as you can see, it's a lot more precise. As you can see, I can place it here, while without this, I could only place it here or here. This trick is great for windows, clutter, and even counters sometimes. I think it's also worth mentioning that there are some cheats that lets you adjust the grid and the visibility of some items. So for example, you can simply press G to toggle the grid. And voila, you can see it, now you don't. You can also use page up and page down to move between floors, as you can see. Very nice and easy. Or you could also use home or and to adjust the wall view. And will bring them down and home will bring them up. Very nice, right? Sometimes you might even be working on a very small room like this one. And what you can do, instead of going manually and trying to get the perfect angle, you can simply press T and you will be automatically in bird view, so you can simply place your items and then press T again to enter down view mode. Another really useful tip is using the L on your keyboard to change the time of day and light in your game. So for example, if I click on it, it goes into the afternoon, it goes at night, so you can see perfectly the light that you place on the outside and you can see what they're actually doing. Or you can also have it in the morning or the full afternoon. Now let's go over some keyboard shortcuts that are always useful and save a lot of time. So the first one is using the B key on your keyboard to draw a wall. Simple as that. And as you can remember, Control to delete it. Or if you wanted to, you could also use Control Z to undo the action or Control Y to redo the action. You can also use the comma or the dot on your keyboard to rotate objects, and as you can remember, the Alt key to rotate it freely. But did you know that you can use the numpad plus and minus sign to go through swatches? Well, you can. Plus will go forward and minus will go back. You can also use the squared brackets to make an object bigger or smaller. This is very useful for plants usually. This shortcut also works for terrain, so square brackets to make it bigger, square brackets to make it smaller. You can also use the backtick to adjust the softness of the terrain. So this is the base one, this is if we make it stronger, and this is if we make it less strong. And now I'm back inside to show you some wall tricks. So we all know that we can hold Shift to apply a wallpaper on the entire room, but did you know that if you held only the Alt key, you can actually place it on a single wall? And voila! This is extremely useful in so many situations, and if you guys like this wallpaper, it's actually from my CC set called Do Bath. Definitely go check that out. Up next, we have my absolute favorite trick ever, which is about flooring. And for that, I changed the build to this one I made, and if you guys can see, right here we have two different types of flooring. But how did I create this effect? Well, let me show you. Usually, if you have a room and you fill it with something, you simply have it like this. But in very big rooms, it can feel pretty monotonous very fast. And yes, you can obviously rotate it using the comma as I told you and place another one, but it looks bad, especially if you're trying to do this in an angle like this. It will never be perfect. So what you can do instead is, first of all, rotate it the correct way, so facing this way. And then you can simply click Ctrl F to change the selection, so instead of a square, it will become a little triangle. Voila! And this basically allows you to place it perfectly where you want it to be. Obviously, you will need to rotate it again and once again, and voila, we have a perfect little angle. Actually, not so perfect because I need to do this. But once you rotate it a few times and understand what you're doing, it will be perfect. So obviously I really like to create this with wood because I can create a little cornice on the side and then fill the middle with another type of wood, and it creates this very beautiful effect. But you could also do it with some carpet if you wanted to. So for example, like this, and you would have a perfectly beautiful custom carpet. Or as I did here, even with some tiles. This is especially useful for a set that I made that is called Nancy Part 2. And as you can see, it has this very beautiful tile, right? Very nice and cute. But as you can see, it ends with nothing. And obviously you need a little transition. So I created a little transition. And as you can see, I can simply rotate it and create little perfect angles like this. And then fill the rest with grass. And voila, we have a beautiful little angle. Now let's transition into some more advanced building. This time we are talking about stairs. If you don't know, the Sims team actually updated the stairs a while back and created a whole new modular system that you can use to your advantage. So let me explain it a little bit to you. If you just select a stair, you have all of these arrows. It can be very complex or confusing, but I'll explain it very simply. This little arrow right here simply controls the length of your stair. I usually do it 2. 3, it's always a little bit too big, and 4, it's gigantic. It really depends on your build. So once you have your main shape, they added some new arrows. And now you can simply drag this one and create a whole new shape. It also works for the top part. But what if you only want one side of this to actually have this shape? Well, then you can simply hold Shift while selecting this arrow, and it will only affect one side. This is very useful, for example, if you have a room right here, let's say, and as you can see, it's perfect. They also updated the way that fences go on top of the stairs. So for example, let's place some railing. Now we can simply select the stair and we can choose where we want the railing. Double railing is the default setting, meaning that it will be on both of the sides, but you can simply choose to only have a left railing, which is right here, or you can choose to only have a right railing, which is what we will want in this case. But what if you want a railing to maybe end right here? Then you can use this little bar right here and control the length of the railing. So you can simply move it up and it will go up. So for example, let's say right at the middle, I think it looks nice. Or also you can move it down if you want this to start at the bottom and only be here. Going back to the arrows, there's also this one right in the middle. And this one basically controls how you want your stairs to be, meaning the angle that it will go to. You can do it right on the side, or you can do a 360 and have it fully wrapped. If you don't like what you did, instead of going back, you can simply use this other arrow that now appeared and select the direction. You can also use this arrow right here to control how high or how low the angle will be. So for example, like this, I will make it super high, or like this, I will make it super low. This trick is super helpful to create very complex staircase or very grand staircases. So for example, if I place this one right here and I add another one, so let's create a 2, and where should the angle be? It should probably be the other way. Just like this. I will place it right here. And as you can see, we have a beautiful staircase. Obviously, you would maybe want some walls right here and some walls right here. But what is a beautiful staircase like this if then you go upstairs and this is what it looks like? You don't want this, right? So you can simply place some fences over it. So let's create a little shape. You can also go over the stairs. It will not affect them at all. And you actually need to, because it needs to create a full new room. And then you can just delete the new room you created. And voila, you have a double height staircase. For the last stair trick, I am gonna use my Orchid Wellness Row build that I created for Del Sol Valley. It is a beautiful gym. If you guys want to, you can definitely check it out on Patreon or also on other videos here on YouTube. And we have this beautiful stair effect. As you guys can see, it goes upstairs, it wraps around, and then it goes upstairs once again. Some people are very confused when I do this. I never quite do it on camera because it's a little bit fiddly, but I really want to show you guys how to do it, especially for apartments, because it's very, very useful. So let's say the gray area is where you want your stairs to be. I'm gonna use my Nancy Part 1 stairways, created with very much love, and I'm just gonna place it somewhere here. First of all, what I showed you before, it didn't have a wall, so I can simply remove the wall that is down here, and then as I told you, you can create an angle with it, so I will simply create this angle right here. But then you go here and maybe you place it here, and you're like, no, it needs to be lower, so let's just lower it. We have our first part of the stair. Then we have a stair very similar that is downstairs, and another little cheat that you can use is hitting the control key on your keyboard to make the stair go downstairs on the bottom floor. But obviously it cannot intersect with wall because I created this thing, so I need to create it upstairs before, so I will have it like this and then like this probably, and then I can do control and it will go downstairs. Then with the fence we can just go in and fill in any space that we want to basically disappear. But obviously, if you do this, I told you that the fence doesn't affect the stairs. That is on the upper part of the stairs. If you put it downstairs, it will actually delete it. So how do you do this? Because then how can you delete it? Because if I delete this thing, it will delete basically the entire room. And obviously we don't want this. So it's actually very, very simple. You simply need to move the stairs away for a little second. Let's just place them, I don't know, right here. Go in with your fence tool and create the fence. Delete anything that you know they're not going to use. Delete the fence once again, and voila, you are left with a perfect hole. Now you simply need to select the stairs once again, bring them here, but now another problem, I cannot place them here, because obviously they're not snapping where they should be. So once again, I need to go upstairs, I know that they are somewhere here, and hit control once again, and voila, we placed them. And they are fully functional, which is absolutely crazy. So now you can simply select the fence once again. Let's go upstairs and do our little fence, and as I showed you, you just select this and delete it, and then you can just get your railings on the stairs, and voila, we have our stairs fully done. Very, very beautiful. Oh, and also here you see this is going into the window, very ugly, we don't want this. So let's select to only be on the left railing, and voila, we fixed another problem. And now I am gonna show you guys how to create the perfect roof. Roofing can be so challenging in The Sims, but one thing that I really like is French roofs. So this is this effect that I created for my World restaurant, also for Delso Valley. And I'm gonna show you how to do it so you can get the same effect. So first of all, only if you want, you can go in and fence the entire place. It usually helps because then you can create this beautiful effect with the trim, but it's definitely not necessary. After that, you want to go in and create a room. You usually want to have at least 2 tiles off of the line, so it should be somewhere right here. And as you can see, I can go in and create my room, probably somewhere here. And obviously here we run into a little bit of a problem, but it's not necessarily important. Just go in and fill this up like this. And now you have your base. Now what you want to do is go into the roofs and select the half gabled roof, rotate it correctly, and go in and size it down. So you can use these little arrows right here, and you can also use this one to make it a bit longer. What you can also do is select this other arrow that controls the length of it, and also make it smaller. And what you want to do now is actually make it a bit taller, just so it goes right at the line of the floor. Once your roof looks like this, you can just go in and select another piece. In this case, I am gonna select this half-hipped roof in diagonal. You can usually use it also in not diagonal, but for the sake of this build, I need to do it like this. And once again, you will make it smaller and you will make it a lot higher. And as you can see, we have this little gap. We don't want this, so we can just go in and close it up. And we can do just the same for the other part, just like this and just like this. And obviously, if we then do it here too, we will have the same exact roof. And voila, as you can see, we have a very beautiful little French roof. You can just go in and use these metal sheets, and usually it looks a little better. And if you don't like this effect, it's usually because this is a little smaller. Exactly, it was a little smaller. But as you can see, it's perfect. And then once again, you can go in with the fence and once again create another little room right here. And you can basically do this for every single side of the build. So for the last section of the roof, I'm gonna show you guys how to create custom shapes. Obviously, when you place down a roof in game, you usually get this really squared triangle, very weird. You can only go up and down, or if you want, you can just create a little curve or another curve like this, but it's missing shape. So I'm gonna show you how to actually have this effect so it has little waves and it looks nicer. So let's just start by placing our roof. As always, we just want it right here. And let's also make it like this. And we probably want it a little bit downwards. Obviously, the game only shows you these little points right here, but there are so many hidden ones that you can unlock by simply hitting Shift C while selecting the roof. And as you can see, I have so many more points, and this will control other curves that I can add or delete. So if you guys want this same roof, I usually just go off the one on top, and I can make them a little bit higher so it creates this curve. And then I can maybe select the middle one and make it a little bit less curved. And then the last one, I can maybe make it a little bit higher or a little bit lower, depending on the look that I want for it. But as you guys can see, this looks exactly the same as the one I made before. Now, a little bonus tip is that you can actually also control how much the roof will go outside on either side. Usually you can just do this, and as you can see, it goes absolutely wild and crazy. But you can also just select the Shift key while actually dragging it, and you can control only one side. This is very, very useful to create complex shapes and not lose your mind while doing so. The last tips that I want to show you guys is how to clutter and create realism in your homes. As you can see, I usually like to clutter my kitchen with some items, and I just have them here on the counter. But if I wanted to do this with the Sims limitation, it would basically be impossible because I'm trying to place it and it's just snapping everywhere. And if I just duplicate it, you see it's a whole mess, and we don't want this. So something really nice and easy that you can do is just duplicate the items that you want to use and place it on top of the counter. It doesn't matter where, because we are gonna move it in a little second. So let's just place this one, and let's also place another one, maybe a green one. And then let's also place the bowls. Now, how do I actually place them where I want them to be? It's very simple. You can just move the counters away, and basically these objects will stay at the same height once you take them away because we have move object activated. So then we can just go here and we can just place it freely with the Alt key selected. As I told you guys, you just hold it down and voila, we have it just like we had it before, and we can simply delete these ones. And voila, you have your beautiful cluttered kitchen. And let's say you wanted to do the same with a table. So for example, here I have this bowl of fruit, and as you can see, the snapping is the same. It's very irritating, but I don't want this. Depending on which table you're using, you can simply just move your mouse on the bottom of the table and it will start free placing. And if you hold the Alt key, once again, you can place it wherever you want. You just need to be careful not hitting any part of the table or it will snap back again. Another really important trick for shelves especially is that you can also just place your shelf, move anything that you have on the bottom, and then just select everything that you want on the shelf, place it wherever you want it to be. Then once again, you can move the shelves on the side and you can go in and move your objects in once again, and they will be at the same exact height that you had them before. And that is it for today, guys. I really hope that you learned something new and that you can now let your creativity run wild in the game without any limitations. I think I covered most of the tips and tricks that I know, but if I let anything out, please do let me know down in the comments, and also let me know what you thought of these videos, if it was useful, and if you're gonna use a cheat. Also let me know your favorite cheat, also something that you maybe use all of the time. That is super interesting to know. And if you guys want, you're gonna obviously find all of my builds here on YouTube to watch the speed builds, or also on Patreon to download them with all of the CC included. And if you want my CC, you can also go over on my other Patreon page, which is Lukeia, and you can grab all of the Nancy collection right now. So if you guys like today's videos, please do not forget to give it a big like and subscribe. Also hit the little notification bell so you never miss out on my new builds. And also, if you guys want to, YouTube has a new feature where you can hype videos. You just need to go down the video and there's a little hype button, and you can do that up to 3 times, and it would really help out a lot. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.